Hey everyone, and welcome back to Reviewed. Today, things are getting steamy as we explore The Submissive by Tara Sumi. So, slip on something comfy, grab yourself a glass of wine, and double check your safe word because we're diving into the world of power, passion, and contract negotiations. How very sexy. The Submissive kicks off Tara Sumi's BDSM romance trilogy with a bang and a blindfold. We meet Abigail King, your quintessential soft-spoken, rule-abiding librarian who shocks even herself when she decides to step way, way outside of the world that she's used to and apply to be the submissive of Nathaniel West, a brooding billionaire CEO with more issues than a remote control missing its batteries. Abby's fascination with Nathaniel has her intrigued. She's followed his business ventures and, let's be real, his romantic exploits through the media, like any good internet sleuth. So, when she discovers his secret, strong liking for dominance, instead of running for the hills, she knocks on his very intimidating office door. One trial weekend and a blush-worthy initiation later, she earns his collar, and she says yes faster than you can say safe word. Nathaniel, meanwhile, is the picture of a classic dom, calculated and emotionally distant. He's not looking for love, he's looking for obedience, predictability, and someone who won't cry after a paddle session. Feelings? No thank you, sir. Their agreement is strictly professional, well, professionally steamy. A 3-month contract that essentially turns Abby's life into a spreadsheet of submission. We're talking 8 hours of sleep. Oh, sign me up. A clean eating diet. I'm out.
Okay.
Cardio, yoga, and so many guidelines. It's basically
yes, I know you can cut me out of that one.
Yeah, cardio. I'll run to the fridge and that's about it.
Yes.
It's basically a self-help retreat with spanking privileges, though. Honestly, who needs submission came with a fitness plan? But beneath the bondage and behavioral guidelines lies a much deeper story about trust, vulnerability, and the terrifying prospect of actual emotional intimacy. Abby gives her all, but Nathaniel keeps slamming the door on anything resembling a feeling. His emotional unavailability is less of a red flag and more of a crimson billboard. And his trauma isn't unpacked so much as tightly padlocked. Still, Abby pushes gently but firmly, and Nathaniel starts to crack, though he'd still rather give a spanking than say I care. Comparisons to 50 Shades of Grey are inevitable. Shy women, enigmatic billionaire, leather accessories. But some readers feel 50 Shades is more glitz than grit. It's less fantasy yacht, more emotional bootcamp. And just when you think it's all been said and done, Nathaniel returns in The Dominant, telling the exact same story from his perspective, because if there's one thing a man loves to control more, it's the chance to explain himself at length. Again. So, guys, that was The Submissive. How did you find it?
I'm going to jump in first.
Oh, go for it.
So, my very good friend who initiated me again into the world of spicy books. Her name is Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Hey, Natalie. Tell us your story.
She was like, Paige, what are you reading this month? And I told her that we were reading Submissive by Tara Sumi. She goes, oh, I haven't read that one. Well, she started reading it. Now, this lady is a speed reader. She's reading 5 books at once. She's got books everywhere and they're all spicy.
How does she remember what belongs to what? Or is that the trick?
No idea. She's got all the stories about all the books. Natalie calls me over the other day and she says, Paige, have you read 50 Shades of Grey? I said, yes. And she goes, do you not see the correlation? I said, do you know what? Now that you've said that, she was very, very disappointed that they had exactly the same storylines.
Yeah.
She was very disappointed. She's like, this is just like reading 50 Shades. Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Now
So
that you've highlighted that, yes, it's basically exactly the same.
Tara Sue Me was named the New York Times bestseller way before 50 Shades.
so yes, this was 1994.
So it's basically before spicy became a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
The book version was published in 2012,
Hmm.
but the online version was available since 2009.
Even though 50 Shades was published first, Submissive has been around a lot longer. And it was loosely based around the Twilight series, which what I can understand, 50 Shades was also based around Twilight series as well. So there's a lot of crossover.
Apparently more than 8 million reads online.
Hi, Natalie. We totally agree. Yes, Tara Sumi was the founder of this type of writing, I guess. This
Mm.
50 Shades style.
So who came up with the idea first? We don't know.
Some smutty, spicy person who enjoyed a bit of a spanking.
Can I
Thank
just say
you.
though, so we know that Tara Sue Me isn't her real name. What if it's the same author? Doubling up, getting lots more
Oh,
money.
Ghost Rider. Ghost
Mhm.
Rider.
Can I also just point out this links so heavily back to the episode we just recorded for reviewed on copyright plagiarism
Mm.
and about how Ed Sheeran and Brookie versus Nagi Mahashi versus dupes.
Mhm.
Can you be original?
No.
That's right.
Or can you only get spanked in a certain number of ways?
Yeah.
Let's test that theory. Thank you, Natalie. We appreciate you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Exactly. You are a wealth of knowledge and I appreciate you.
Send us some book suggestions as well,
That's what I
Natalie.
was
That would
going to
be
say.
great.
Natalie, you get to suggest our next book for the book
Yes,
club.
you do.
Oh
Yes,
my
you
God,
do.
if this is gonna blow my head off with spice, I'm in a lot of trouble. Because
I want spice. Give me all the spice.
can I just tell you that my finger action to hit,
Oh,
What
yeah.
is that finger
Oh,
action
that
yeah.
is
doing?
me hitting on my audible fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward.
Right.
And oh my God, there was
Sure it is.
almost a whole chapter I missed because it was just spice.
Is that what you
I
call
thought
it?
you were hitting the
You're
downstairs
audible.
button.
The downstairs button, no.
So now we know that Moira's favorite part of her body is called audible.
Yeah. It's the fast forward button.
Nice finger action though.
Thank you.
Oh, very good.
Thanks, Nat. Okay, yes. Well, look, I really enjoyed the friend who said, hurt her and I'll cut off your dick and feed it to you for breakfast. Felicia was my favorite. I loved her protectiveness over Abby when she was in the hospital. Did you have a favorite moment in the book? And I guess what was your overall feeling about the book itself?
I love the fact that Felicia and Abby lived next door to each other.
Yeah, I love that.
Best friends
Yes.
forever.
Yeah.
My favorite part in the book was Abby just cooked dinner and they went to the library and had a little picnic, and it was a naked picnic.
Mm.
And she spilt some marinara sauce
On him.
on him, and he goes, "You got marinara on my cock."
You, the skipping finger.
I really, that was probably my favorite line in the whole book.
Are you getting ideas, Em?
Yeah, she is.
No, I couldn't imagine anything worse than getting hot sauce of any kind on a genitalia part.
Yeah.
Hey,
Um,
that is a kink, you know, like hot wax is a kink. So it'd just be like hot wax, isn't it?
No, because hot wax melts at a certain temperature. I know because I used to make hot wax massage like candles.
I know. I loved the scent. It was
Thank
very
you.
nice. Yeah, and I guess my other favorite part was when Abby walked into the library with the box of candy that she had found hidden behind cans in the kitchen cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of started like the reverse role play. So she was the dom, and then Nathaniel became the submissive, which he had said through the book that he'd done once before. So she was really keen to try that out. And I guess the reason I like this is because
I have to rebuke that.
yeah.
No, I don't think that that's what happened at all. He even pointed out that it was just a scene for him, and she
Well,
thought that she was breaking down his walls, when in reality,
disagree.
in that
Oh,
point in
disagree.
time,
Ooh.
I
at that
absolutely disagree. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit. This isn't super saucy, but it kind of backs what I'm trying to say. Okay, so
Hey, Makalabby!
hi, hello, listeners. Welcome to Submissive. I could live without air sooner than I could give up the feel of his lips on mine. He sighed, a warrior's defeat at the end of a long-fought battle. Then he framed my face with both hands and kissed me again, even longer. His tongue lightly traced my lips, and when I opened my mouth, he entered slowly, as if memorizing the feel, the very taste of me. I could have wept with the sweetness of it all. I ran my fingers through his hair, pulling him to me, not ever wanting to let go. He groaned, and our tongues swept over each other's as the kiss deepened. He broke away and stood up out of his pants, looking deep into my eyes the entire time. Love me, Nathaniel, I said, holding my arms open to him. I always have, Abby, he said as he gently gathered to me. I always have.
That was very uncomfortable for me.
I know, I was laughing at your reactions.
I
don't love being read to by people I know. Especially not that kind
that
of
wasn't
content.
even saucy. So that wasn't even saucy. That was the time for me when he admitted. So I'm going to ruin a little bit of the storyline, a little bit of
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen.
to
Skip
this
the next
part. So Nathaniel actually admits that he has loved Abby since he saw her and had an interaction with her many years prior at his best mate's university. And vice versa. Abby has loved him for a long time, and we'll go into that a little bit later. So I think that was the moment where he admitted verbally to her, and that was the first time he kissed her, because he said, no, I don't want to kiss on the lips. And then she asked him, have you kissed other submissives before? And he said, yes. So for him, that was him not wanting to admit that this is real and that he loves her, and he didn't want to further that connection because whatever. But that was the pivotal moment for him, realizing and verbalizing his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I still disagree. I stand in my place. I still believe that at that time, he was just playing out a scene.
No.
That's all that he was doing, was playing out a scene. And it wasn't until she left that he's gone, well, shit.
No, he wouldn't have gone, oh shit, when she left.
Yes, he would have.
If
Yes.
he didn't have feelings for her, if he wasn't in love with her, if she wasn't the one all these
Look,
years.
do you know what? Anyone can tell me that you can build a relationship without feelings, right? Anyone can tell me that. It's a load of shit. Any sort of relationship that you have, which is physical intimacy, there is going to be some sort of relationship built with that physical intimacy, and there will be that moment of, well, shit, I've done the wrong thing, especially if you've actually enjoyed that person's company.
I think he enjoyed more than her company.
And vice versa. So that's why I think that in that point in time, he was just playing the scene, as he said. And then when she stood up to him and said, "No, I can let you do whatever you want to my body, but when it comes to my emotions, that's where I draw the line." And that's what my favorite part was that she stood up to him and said, "No, enough's enough. Do you want me more than just your submissive? Do you want me as a person in your life? Because if you do, you wouldn't be doing this to me."
So I think we need a referee, Moira.
Look, have you ever seen the show You on Netflix?
I have not yet, but it's on my to watch list.
You know, like the guy who's really creepy, he like goes and like stalks women and then like keeps them captured at his basement. This is kind of what Nathaniel was giving me. I couldn't care. Just couldn't care. I was just like, I thought he was playing the scene in the moment. I did. I thought he was just playing along with it, because he was like, it's time for me to get a spanking. I feel like I'm dishing them out. I would like to be the receiver. So I think he wanted a bit of a spanking, and then she got a bit too serious, and he was like, not part of the contract, love.
You wanted a referee, you got the
Bullshit.
answer, and you don't like it.
Also, I have not seen 50 Shades of Grey, so I can't even pretend to understand. I think he was playing a scene, and then I think it got a bit too serious, and he got scared. But then I think he was like, actually, I kind of like this one.
No, because he'd
Yeah,
already through
I
the
agree.
book said that was the girl.
Natalie! Natalie! Umpire! We need an umpire. Yes. So I guess, what are your thoughts on Abby entering into a world of submission? If you were Abby, would you enter into a relationship that had a similar sexual contract? Because
Nah.
listen, look, when I read the contract scene, and I immediately thought, this is some really intense HR onboarding. Like, putting it all out there, but whoa.
I think the whole thing was bizarre in the fact that he had purchased clothes for her to have at the house. Like, are those clothes for his other submissives as well? And is she just like second handing them? Like, that was weird to me because she didn't even have to take her undies. And the whole sexual contract thing, I don't think that's a bad idea, because it lays out everything, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, what you're willing to maybe try, the gray area. Then there's no regrets, right? Is it weird? Yes, it is weird, but I think it's probably smart, particularly in this day and age.
I was going to say, I wonder if in this day and age, does that become something that becomes more used?
If you're into it, you're into it. Go for it. It's not my thing.
I don't know. I find it interesting. I feel like it's her just trying something new and it being a safe way of doing it. So you have a contract, you get to stipulate what you will and will not want to engage in. And it gives you, I guess, a bit of a taste of something that you might want to try in a safe environment.
Can I just say, the butt plug? Holy shit balls.
I must have skipped that bit.
So obviously she had never had anal before, and she had ticked yes that she would do that on her contract.
Oh yes, and he was like, tonight.
So she had to wear the butt plug for, what was it, an hour a night? Like, stretch it out. Stretch it out, get it ready. I don't know.
Did the butt plug get bigger with every day?
No, I think it was just so that it got used to stretching. To be fair, I had a reasonable idea what butt plugs were used for. I've never used one. But I didn't realize it was used as a training mechanism.
Yeah, I definitely skipped that section.
I'm learning. That's why butt plugs come in all different sizes, from the little tiny weeny ones to the big ones.
I had another thought about, would you, if this contract thing caught on for everyone and everyone was like, yep, this is the way to do it these days, random one-nighters. Like, would you have a contract? Sorry, we can't get into it. It's probably going to take you about half an hour to fill out this form before we get started. Like, would that ruin the mood?
I think you could still have that. I think it would just be a 5-question checklist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost like on a lanyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is me. It would be so much easier if you just did a t-shirt.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the front, things I will do. On the back, things I will not. And it points to your mum. Will not.
That's actually a really funny shirt.
Thanks. I'm all about the t-shirts.
Yes! QR code.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah. Everything's so accessible these days.
That's right.
Why not a
That's
sex
right.
contract?
Well, why not? So are you team Nathaniel or team please communicate more? Because are you sticking to the script of the contract in this instance? Or are you letting each other in with a little wiggle room, like a little get to know you chat? He was very much, this is the contract and this is the things, and only at the kitchen bench can we talk. And
the library.
Are you allowing a little more get to know you chats, or are you strictly contract?
I am so for communication.
Yeah.
Communication.
Hold on. Let's remember, this is a 3-month trial of submission.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't a relationship.
Yeah. That's completely fine, but communication is key.
If you're making me wear a butt plug, you best be talking to me too.
You best be freaking talking to my head and not my butt.
But please communicate more.
That's right, yes. And it goes hand in hand with the whole contract thing. Communicate. If you're open to that communication and you can say, this is what I need in any relationship. This is what I need to feel appreciated, to feel that I'm doing the right thing. This is how I communicate and show my appreciation for you. Like, it's all about communication. And then no one's left in the dark going, shit, did I say the wrong thing? Did I do the wrong thing? Have I stepped on toes? Have I not stepped on toes? Have I not stepped on enough toes? You know?
I would agree. But I also looked at this as more of a romance than a spicy book.
I was team Nathaniel.
Really?
Yeah, don't talk to me. I feel like that's the whole facade, right? Well, in my thing, I'm the dominant though, of course. Because I'm not.
Well, I mean, look,
people.
when we look at this,
this is in life. Everybody should know Moira is a dominant.
She really freaking is. Like, she's just pointed out, like, she needs to know when it's happening, what time it's happening, how long she has to get ready, and if it's not within that window, it's not happening.
Well, yeah, and how long is it going to take? Because she's got shit to do.
She's got shit to do.
Places to be, people to see. That's the whole point of it, right? Is we're playing a role. I feel like that's what brings the sexiness to it, isn't it? Right? It's kind of like when I click, you lick.
No.
I don't know. I feel like you need that kind of like the mystery. So, what did you think of Abby's decision to jump into this arrangement with little experience? Do you think it's empowering or a red flag?
I think that a lot of growth happens when you're outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
You also learn what you do and don't want, or what you are willing to do and what you're not willing to do. So I think it's empowering. I know that this definitely would not be something that I would like in the least. So I probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah. In this particular case, Abby's had this infatuation with Nathaniel West since he saved her mother's house years prior.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity arose to become his submissive, I think she was really intrigued by it. Not so much the style of being a submissive, but just to be with Nathaniel. Having said that, in the book, Nathaniel says that she's a natural submissive. So, I mean, maybe it was also something that she was keen on. I think it's empowering. Yeah.
Is that a compliment or an insult?
It all depends on whether or not you're happy to be a submissive.
Yeah. So I think in her case, she was happy. Would I want to be a submissive? No, not in the least.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle the spanking. I'd be like,
Yes. Look, in my view, this spanking was a bit overdone. That made me feel uncomfortable.
yeah, me
I didn't
too.
enjoy that at all. I think it's empowering because she knows what she wants to explore and she goes for it. And there's no shame, it's just curiosity. No judgment, just curious. I like that. The red flag for me is like that huge power imbalance. Like she doesn't ask that many questions. And
That's a submissive, though.
yeah, that's the red flag for me on being a submissive. I don't like it. I mean, I couldn't be a submissive at all. You're not telling me what to do, love. I'll smack you back with the paddle.
Just on that, what would everyone's safe word be?
Listen, it's not going to be turpentine. I get the 3 syllables, but can we think of something that's a bit more sexy than turpentine? Imagine forgetting your safe word. Fuck, what is it? It's something to do with paint. Paint. Paint stripper. Something. Why is it anything to do with painting? Well, I'm not in the position to think about this right now.
I said that my safe word would be Riverton. I've got no idea why.
Because it's like a word you wouldn't use normally.
Well, exactly.
I'd literally just like seen this meme on Facebook. So a guy comes riding up on the like head of the horse, and then the other guy goes to him, "Why do you ride your horse like that?" And then as the guy rides away, he's like, "It's not a horse, it's a unicorn."
Oh my God. So he had a butt plug.
I was going to say that's a butt plug reference, isn't it?
Unicorn would be my safe word.
Okay, the contract itself, hot or bureaucratic? So should more relationships start with a checklist? And what if people were just super upfront about their needs and quirks, like Abby and Nathaniel's BDSM contract, but for regular dating?
I think, again, it goes back to communication. Let me know what you need. Here's what I need.
I get it. So you're keen for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Em?
I think it prevents people from getting to know.
You like the element of surprise.
You.
Yeah.
Getting to know
Great. How's that
all
working out for you?
You.
Peeling back the layers of the onion. Don't do it all
Exactly.
at once, or you'll cry.
At least with a checklist, you know how to bring that spice back.
I guess if you got married or on your anniversary of when you dated or met, then you would review checklists, right? So it's funny. In real life, no
how
one.
romantic.
And well, sometimes it's not about the romantic side of it, but sometimes that is what gets people through. So it might not feel romantic in the moment, but you can't say you don't know. So with communication comes power. Apparently, women have already thought about leaving at least 6 months before they do actually leave.
Yep.
So if you said to your partner 6 months before, this is where I'm not happy and this is what I want. I want you to take me on a date. I want you to romance me. If you know all these things and you still don't do them, that's your choice.
That's
But
right.
you can't say you weren't told. So yes, it's not sexy, but it might actually save a relationship because
That's right.
you might actually then put the effort in.
It's like a manual, which we understand that not every man reads manuals because they think that it's a waste of time. But it's like putting together an IKEA cabinet.
No, they're always missing a part anyway.
Well,
Are they though?
Look, I feel like the older you get as well, the more this checklist idea is actually not a bad idea. So I wrote a checklist.
Oh, did you just?
A real world relationship checklist.
I just grimaced at you.
And I figured that maybe this could come in really handy for you, Paige. So
Yeah, exactly.
Emotional availability. Let's just double check that, right? I know what gaslighting means and I don't do it. Perfect.
Check. Yep.
I will not just disappear to think for 3 days with no text.
Excellent.
Food compatibility. Should have been top of the list. I get it. I will not judge your food order.
Good.
Appreciate that. I understand that when I ask if you want anything and you say no, I should get you something anyway.
Absolutely.
That is an
Absolutely.
actual thing that happens in our house. And I understand if there is wine, there should be cheese and vice versa.
Yep.
Great. I will not refer to your cat as the demon.
Uh,
Depends on what cat you're talking about.
exactly. It could be Dallas. It
Oh,
could be Mr.
I was
Big.
not talking about actual felines.
Ah.
You
Pet
guys are high maintenance.
No, we're
pet
not.
preferences. Listen, entertainment boundaries.
No.
I will not skip ahead in a series we are watching together.
Correct.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
see?
always break that rule.
Oh,
Nah, not
me
doing
and
it.
you have already broken up. I made one for your future partner. You shall respect Paige's strong opinion about microwaves and fully appreciate a 24/7 Kmart.
Yes.
I put my dirty clothes in the hamper, not next to it.
Excellent.
I know how to clean a bathroom like a grown-up and how to put the toilet seat down.
Oh,
Bonus.
100%.
Yes.
I understand the difference between Pacific and specific because one is an ocean and the other I couldn't be clearer on.
Excellent.
I think very helpful checklists.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Emma, I wrote you a submission contract.
Oh.
I'm not signing it. Go fucking eat your own
Not
ass out.
What are you guys giving me on a spicy scale for this one? Are you recommending it? Is it spicy?
I'm gonna chime in before Paige does because I already know her opinion. I really liked it. I haven't read 50 Shades, so this is new to me. I gave it a 3. So on the spicy scale, that is a cayenne pepper.
I got bored during the spicy scenes. I was like, oh, this is just another scene that I've read before. So that was really sad in that respect. And so I gave it a 1.
Oh, rough.
Interesting. Look, I can't comment on the spice because I just skip through it. I just don't. It's just not for me. I don't enjoy listening to it. From a book perspective though, and I've obviously read quite a few spicy novels because you guys keep making me. And if I compare this to something like Hooked by Emily McIntyre, I really enjoyed that book. I really couldn't be bothered with the storyline on this one, which means that for me, 50 Shades of Grey is going to be a really tough movie to watch for me. And that's a wrap. And maybe a spank. The Submissive, a story where a reserved librarian takes off more than just her glasses, and a CEO learns that tying someone up and issuing commands is easy, saying I love you, terrifying. We followed Abby on her journey from, hi, I like your tie, to, here's my signed contract for sexual servitude and a weekly yoga schedule. Truly inspirational. And if nothing else, it taught us that personal growth sometimes starts with stretching, a safe word, and a color-coded meal plan. We met Nathaniel West, the brooding, emotional, unavailable billionaire who'd rather do downward dog than talk about his feelings. A man so afraid of intimacy that he created an entire contract to avoid saying, I love you. Honestly, relatable. And let's not forget that behind the whips and spreadsheets was a surprisingly tender story about power, vulnerability, and eventually growth. Like a BDSM flavored Hallmark movie if Hallmark had nipple clamps and a warning label. This was The Submissive. We've laughed, we've blushed. Some of us could not have hit that skip button on Audible version fast enough, and we've imagined what our own relationship contracts would look like. And now we want to hear from you. What's your safe word? Would you sign a contract like Abby? And should all new relationships begin with a checklist of weird quirks, trauma baggage, and snack preferences? Well, look, I reckon checklists would save us a lot of time and therapy, but let us know and we'll feature our favorites. And if you're lucky, Emma might even read a few in her best $8.99 a minute sultry voice. A special shout out to Felicia, our queen of blunt threats, my absolute favorite character in this book, who said what we're all thinking. I'll read that out again. Protect your girls and don't be afraid to threaten a little anatomical retribution when necessary. Please also let us know what you think we should read next. Natalie, we want to hear from you. If this was boring and predictable and you've read it all before, Give us something. Surprise us. Emma wants spice and smut. I would like a storyline, and Paige is here for everything she can get.
It's
If
true.
anyone else has any book recommendations, please send them through. We would love to see what you would make me read.
You sound so enthusiastic.
I love a bit of smut, me. Oh.
If it's smutty, it's really good.
You'll get an extra star if it's smutty. Until then, remember, consent is sexy, communication is hotter, and running 1 mile 3 times a week should be optional. Always. Keep up to date with us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. We are over on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music. You have been enjoying our segment Revealed. My name is Moira.
I'm Paige.
And I'm Emma.
And we're What She Said. Bye.